Welcome back to Lem's Cryptoverse. Today we're going to do a deep dive into XRP. And I started doing deep dives on my own, but I've never published them. This is the first time I'm publishing a deep dive. And I started doing them because you could count on like maybe 3 or 4 fingers, maybe 5 the most out of the 1,000 people out there, 1,000 creators on YouTube. There is hardly anyone that does deep dives. Maybe there's Guy from Coin Bureau and James Flannery from InvestAnswers, and maybe 1 or 2 more. Like Coinsider does deep dives, but they're not broad enough. They're more like technology based. And I'm trying to do something that covers everything. So let's get started. There's a lot to talk about. So I sat on this one for a while because the price was kind of low and I was waiting for the price to go up. And now I think the XRP's price has gone up at least 25% in the last few weeks. So I'm doing this video in mid-January. So XRP has gone up to around 45 cents, up from the 20s, I believe, a few weeks ago. So what the heck is it? Well, they say that they're building the internet of value. You can make of it what you want. Next. So I'm going to be going quickly because there's a lot to cover, as I said earlier. I've got like 29 slides. So what the heck is it? The background is that they're a protocol that provides liquidity for fast cross-border payments with minimal fees. And they use their own Ripple network to do this. And let's skip over some of this stuff. Let's go where it's highlighted. This prototype's been around, a working version of it, since 2004. This is even before, way before Bitcoin and way before Ethereum. So this is definitely a generation 1 blockchain. And on the bottom here, you can see you've got financial institutions, individuals, and devs. But basically, it's really for banks, in my opinion. That's where the focus is on. So what the heck is it in terms of use case? The main use, and there's a lot of uses for them, but the main use is cross-border payments, like remittances, as they call them. $15 word, I suppose. But I think there's a weak adoption despite their being around like forever. And there's also limited use for the coin. If you skip over to the last bullet, you can see all the other uses: foreign exchange, escrow, real-time gross settlement, peer-to-peer purchases, central bank IOUs, online voting, even NFTs. And they're getting popular, especially with the recent traction with their partnership with Mintable. And even now, you're seeing more news about them also getting on the bandwagon for Ethereum virtual machines as a side chain. But I really think the main use is just for payments. And you could take a look at this diagram below. You could see how they use. And as I said earlier, this is a good way of seeing them. Like I said earlier, think of them as a liquidity protocol. So they're in the middle and they provide liquidity. And that's what you see here in this chart. Okay, next, the team. The founding team is David Schwartz, Jeff McCaleb, and Arthur Brito. They launched the XRP Ledger. And there's a new team. The team's had some turnover, as you can imagine. They've got strong, diverse backgrounds. And the team is pretty good. They're considered older and more experienced than some of the young hacker cowboys that you see out there. What else could I say? They include a regulator, an ex-counselor to the U.S. Secretary of the Treasury, and ex-Goldman folks and obviously traditional finance folks. And they changed the name 3 to 4 times. There's a lot of disputes. You see this a lot with blockchains, but XRP has had more disputes compared to other blockchains. Maybe you could say it's because they've been around longer. I don't know. Glassdoor rating. Glassdoor rating is fairly high at 4.2. 76% would recommend them to a friend, and they approve of Brad Garlinghouse. And he's a guy you see on TV a lot, the guy that speaks and promotes XRP and Ripple. The only thing that worries me is that I've looked at the ratings and some of them look like they were made up, and especially since they were done recently. Like the ones that look like they were made up were done recently, and there's been an increase in ratings. There's been a lot of 5-star ratings. I get suspicious when I see a lot of 5-star ratings, and especially when you see the ratings go up so quickly. It's just not normal. And devs, they're ranked 96, which is pretty low from Crypto Miso. And you can just go onto that website and take a look at it. And the good thing about this website, there's a lot of ways of finding this. I like this website because they tell you the language that it uses, how many people have it on their watch list, when it was updated and created. So that tells you a lot. The backers, they tend to be smaller backers. Let me see. Yeah. Other than obvious A16Z, or it wasn't that this time. It was Andreessen Horowitz. I don't think A16Z existed back in 2009, but that's that new crypto-focused fund from the Andreessen Horowitz boys. And then you've got some other ones that you're probably familiar, like Pantera Capital. That's been around a long time. The customers of Ripple are wide-ranging, and they tend to be large banks, as I said earlier. You can take a look at this list later, and it keeps going on. Well, there's a difference. Before that was Ripple, the slide before, and this slide is for XRP. So remember, the two are related anyway. They're joined at the hip. The ranking, just listen to this carefully. It's maintained a top 10, on the top 10 for a long time, and here the snapshot. The snapshot is from 2013, and you can see they've been on the top 10 for years, and now they're ranked number 4 if you exclude stablecoins. So they're pretty highly ranked in terms of coin market cap. And I wrote 2022, and this continues into mid-January 2023. They're well above the next ranking coins, Cardano and Polkadot and Solana. These are updates. You could get them on Crunchbase. The most important thing what I want to say was what I wrote in purple on January the 20 of 2022. Ripple, the corporation behind XRP, was valued, I should say, at $15 billion. That's a huge amount of money. And I have a feeling most of that value is due to the coins that are owned by Ripple Corporation. Where can you buy XRP? As you know, because of the SEC lawsuit, you haven't been able to get XRP in places like Coinbase. So you can get them on DEXs, and of course, you can get anything on Binance. And you can see I put in a news article there. Coinbase filed to support Ripple against the SEC case. So the Coinbase is changing its tune. Coinbase, they were invited. If you remember, they were invited to talk to SEC, and then the SEC turned around and bid them. So Coinbase is not a friend of the SEC. The roadmap and governance. There's little information on this beyond 2019. I didn't see a roadmap on the Ripple website. Like I said, there's lack of a clear roadmap or milestones. What you find out when you want to find out about the milestones, you got to hear interviews with Brad Garlinghouse, basically. And there's no on-chain governance. On the blockchain trilemma, what I like to do is put up this diagram of what Vitalik Buterin calls the trilemma, and see where XRP is on that triangle. And you could see they're on the right side. You could see the symbol right there. So they're on the right side because they're more secure and scalable, versus being on the left side and bottom where it's more decentralized. And you could see the other coins that are more decentralized, obviously like Bitcoin and Ethereum. XRP blockchain performance. It's fairly fast, but of course it's fast because it's secure and it's centralized. If it was decentralized, it would not be so fast. So it's a balance. XRP has the lowest cost per transaction. That's what they say. XRP only takes 3 seconds per transaction, a lot faster than other chains, and everyone looks at Ethereum when they say that. Of course, Ethereum has layer 2s, which make Ethereum faster. So this is a little deceiving, looking at it that way. And then transactions per second are fast, and I said why. It's not decentralized. The KPIs, basically key performance indicators of XRP network, opaque information is not available on third-party sites. You just get what you receive from the Ripple team. The good news there's been strong growth for the ODL, what's called on-demand liquidity. So that I give to them. They've been strong and consistent in that area. The KPIs in terms of transactions, and I put a very long-term chart. I didn't even bother updating this because it stayed the same. Basically, it's been flat for a long time. So that's obviously a bad thing. You want to see transactions being executed rising over time, and we haven't seen that. The consensus mechanism, it's not the typical proof of work or the typical proof of stake. Miners are not rewarded for securing the network. Participants are considered known and trusted. The number of validators are about 108, but Ripple runs several of them. So because Ripple runs several of them, it's considered, in my opinion, very, very centralized. And Ripple publishes a unique node list, basically of the validators that they recommend. Talk about a conflict of interest. Token economics is one of the worst I've ever seen. Pre-mined 100 billion XRP coins back in 2013. There's no new coin issuance, and there's 100 billion maximum supply. But we don't need any new coin issuance. There's so much issuance, right? So many coins issued, 100 billion coins. It's hard to even conceptualize. There's a low float, meaning that maybe I shouldn't use the word float, because float refers to trading liquidity. What I'm talking about is circulating supply. It's good when you have a maximum supply on a coin. It's considered very good. If you don't know anything, that would be very, very good to have a maximum supply. However, in this case, the circulating supply is so much lower than the maximum supply that having a maximum supply doesn't mean anything. What else? Little incentive for users to hold XRPs. I mentioned that before because the fees are minimal. So why hold XRP in the first place? And then you see the same thing with the Cosmos Atom coin. But at least Cosmos is working to fix that. They have a proposal to change the tokenomics because of that exact problem. What else? Huge number of whales. $20 billion of coins went to the founders. That's insane. There's a heavy vesting schedule. We're going to talk about that. And it's marketed as being deflationary, as XRP burns coin to pay fees. And I think I did a video on this. You remember I said that you got to be careful with the maximum supply, which usually seems good on its own. But when it's much higher than circulating supply, it's not good. The same thing with inflation. Like being a deflationary is good, or burning fees is good if you look at it alone as a one-off. But if you combine everything together, it's not good. So marketing XRP as deflationary is a bit deceiving. Token economics is one of the worst I've ever seen, as I said. The founders in the project got 99.8%. I wasn't even going to publish this. I thought it was a mistake, but I saw others publish the same thing, so I guess it's okay. This comes out of Missouri, by the way, but I've seen it now in other places, like I said. And Ripple owns 50% of the outstanding. This comes out of Ripple's own report that they own 50% of the outstanding XRP. Token economics is something I just added. This just came out from a company called Token Unlocks. And they did a whole 25, 30 page paper on all the major unlocks. And they said there was about $100 billion in unlocks coming up in 2023. And guess what's number one? Yep, XRP, with nearly $18 billion being unlocked. That is a huge, huge amount. And our friends from InvestAnswers did this great table. They took that report from Token Unlocks and they included that with their own database. Again, this comes from InvestAnswers. And InvestAnswers noted that even if you look at percent supply, forget about the absolute value. If you're looking at percent supply, you're talking about 85.89%. Basically, 86% of supply is going to be unlocked just for 2023. It's an unbelievable number. Remember, when supply gets unlocked, that's more investors that need to buy the coin in order to keep its price afloat. So this is a major, major problem. Token and economics from Asari, you can see the vesting schedule. It's going to the moon, but in a bad way. External ratings, Symmetry says it's rated D, nearly uninvestable. And this is a rating scale from A plus through F. So basically that's a failure in my opinion. Crypto EQ rates it red, which is deficient. The Crypto Rating Council rates it 4.0, basically 4, meaning it's nearly a security because it's so centralized. And Token Insight gave it a rating of BB, a non-investment grade. Actually, that's probably the best rating on this table here. SEC lawsuits. Actually, Brad Garlinghouse just spoke January 23rd, I believe, and he said that he thinks the SEC case is going to come to a resolution within the next 6 months. But he's been saying this on and on, but you're hearing a lot more of this getting leaked out, so maybe it's true. They're trying to work on a settlement. We heard about this for a while now, that they're trying to work on a settlement with the SEC. What else? So I'm not going to read all of these to you, but you should know about the SEC lawsuit. I'll just read you one or two bullets. The lawsuit started in December 2020. And in a nutshell, just to summarize it, the SEC says that Ripple were selling unregistered securities. Basically, the SEC is saying, and this is Gary Gensler also saying this recently, but this case started before Gary Gensler. The SEC is saying that XRP is basically a stock. That's all it's saying under the Howey case. And that's the 4 parts for the Howey case, which we won't go over in this deep dive because we already know that what the SEC's opinion is on whether or not it's a security. And I guess you could read the updates on your own. And on September 19, SEC and Ripple agreed to request judgments without a jury. So that's what they're trying to work on now. And it's been said that, and I said too, the case would probably conclude end of the year. I'm sorry, not the last brief is end of the year, but by the first quarter of 2023. That was my conclusion with what I read at the time. And now Brad Garlinghouse is confirming that, saying it's going to be in the first 6 months of the year. So something's happening where there's going to be some conclusion to this. What it is, I don't know. I'm hoping that the government works on a blanket case, that they just have a different filing mechanism for altcoins and Ethereum, which of course is an altcoin, but there was some rumors, not rumors, the SEC previously had said that Ethereum is not a security, but now Gary Gensler may be going back on that. But the point is, I think they're going to put out some blanket new regulation just for cryptocurrencies, because you can't go after every single one of the, whatever it is, 15 to 18,000 coins out there. And most of them are zombies. I mean, they're already near zero, but most of them would go to 2.0 if they had to do all the filing, you need attorney fees and all that. Social engagement is very high, and this is from XRP's army of bots. There are over 350,000 subscribers to Reddit following XRP and Ripple. And Ripple does a lot of advertising to increase its brand awareness. And there's lots of, I said, Twitter followers, about 2.5 million. Risks. There's, of course, systemic risk with the stock market and Bitcoin. But there's also a lot of idiosyncratic risk. And idiosyncratic risk is like unique risk just to this particular coin. And that's regulatory risk, reputation risk, business risk, and just a lack of investor demand. You can't find XRP in Coinbase, for example. and there's operational risk and counterparty credit risk. So there's a lot of different types of risks. Technical analysis. So as I mentioned to you, short term, the last month or two, XRP has gone up like crazy. But if you look at the chart, first of all, let's look short term. Short term, we're hitting a lot of resistance around 45 cents, and you can see that here. But then long term, there's a huge amount of resistance, and there's been erratic behavior. So you have many negative things going for it. Like I said, erratic behavior, volatility. It looks like a pump and dump. And then there's a lot of overhead price resistance at exactly where we're trading at right now, between 40 cents and 45 cents. So the key takeaway, if you haven't figured it out by now, is I've got two very strong thumbs down. Sorry, folks. Thanks for listening. If you think I missed something, please put it in the comments and I'll cover it, because I'm trying to have these deep dives cover everything. Thank you and bye-bye.